Hello everyone. Oh, I'm just turning over in my chair. We go. There we go. Hello everyone. So today I am going to be doing some Christmas watercolour card ideas. So these don't have exact measurements. I had some watercolour paper come out of a watercolour journal that I bought online a couple of months ago now, but I had some paper left and didn't know what to do with them, so I thought this would be a nice idea. So originally I did do it so they were actually like an actual, opening card, but then I cut them in half because I realised I could do more paintings that way, and I was thinking I could do it this way. I won't be using this one obviously because it is dirty. Actually, where has this been? I think it's been stuck under my art card. Oh, that's a shame. Also, there's some plane traffic in the sky today, so there's background noises. So I was thinking if you did it this way, so you did your painting and then you could stick it on this kind of card. So I was thinking of doing all sorts of different designs. Obviously some of them will have tape borders, some of them just be random and wet and loose, which tends to be my style anyway. And then I do have these because I like adding sparkly stuff as much as I like adding splattered snow, and I was thinking these are very pretty. And then I bought these ones because they're a bit more autumn coloured, so I don't know if they would go if I did a brown one. And then I do have, where is it? I do have the a set of bigger colours. I'll have it ready for the next video if I need to use those colours. Anyway, so I'm going to stop talking now. I think it can begin. So I'm not doing a border for this one. I'm just moving all of my scissors and art supplies and stuff out of the way. These are my watercolours. I did replace my Indigo. I do have some watercolours that I want to use in future card videos that are behind me, and they're the Shore and Marsh. They're a Hobbycraft brand, but the only problem is they've got some beautiful colours in that I'd love for cards. Like there's some lovely reds in there that I want to use, but the paints don't have names. They don't have watercolour names like, that's sap green, that's gamboge, that's indigo, that's cadmium. They don't have colour names. So if I were to do a demonstration or a tutorial or anything like that, if you wanted to follow along, you'd have to use colours that are similar to the ones that I was using. And I know sometimes a lot of people, when they do watch those kind of things, they like to have the exact colours, but I still want to at least do a couple of videos with them. Anyway, now I am done talking. I am done talking now. Okay, so I'm going to turn this round. Turn this round. And then I'm just going to do a very thin, gentle, not adding too much pressure, sort of wiggly shaped line. Doesn't matter where you put it, actually. Maybe I could do it a bit more hilly, like that. Like that. Okay. I'm just going to a couple of videos ago I was talking about how I didn't really like kneaded erasers, and I've been using this a lot actually. It's in a funny shape. Originally it was like this, so yeah. So I might actually see if this helps. Maybe, is that okay? Can you still see it? I can't see what you can see because of the ring light. Oh no, if I look at it at an angle I can. Okay. So I'm trying to decide. Oh, sorry. I'm trying to decide. I wanted to use this for something, but I was thinking they could be used for baubles. I'm trying to think of colours that would match this. So I could do a burnt umber one, or a Van Dyke brown, but I did that for a bigger painting a few videos ago, so it might be interesting to do something different. Yeah, let's do something different. Although if I do indigo, I can still use gold do some gold trees. I don't know, in my head I have my heart set on sorry, I have my heart set on doing gold, some gold sparkles. This is indigo, and I'm trying to get a nice deep sky. Now obviously normally I would border this, but because it's going to sit on card, like I showed at the front with the gold cardstock kind of thing, it doesn't really need a border. Now I think I mentioned probably last time I did watercolour paintings for winter or Christmas, I suck at the salt trick. I have seen it work. I have never successfully done the salt trick. I don't know if I'm using the wrong salt. I just use salt that I use on my food. If that's wrong and you recommend any other type of salt to try, please leave it in the comments, and I will see if I can try it. So, but to substitute the salt trick, I just drop plain water from the brush with a spatter technique. Just plain water, no watercolour pigment on it or anything, and it kind of gives the same effect. Not as dramatic, obviously, but it does make the colour separate a little bit. Obviously the only downside is I will have to wait for this to dry, although this is something, oh, I'm turning it around, sorry. This is something I always do. If I just let a bit of my brush, when it's slightly damp, I try to pull down the sky pigment. If I can, to just sort of give a bit of a blue tint. Oh, that's not a tint. Oh, that's not a tint, is it? There we go. Now it is. That's a bit better. Okay, like that. I don't know. I don't think the tissue is helping. Maybe I should have strapped it. Maybe I should have taped it down. Okay, so I might add a bit of darker later, because this looks like a nice snow hill. Actually, let's see if I can. I prefer this bit to have a bit more white, so let's dab my brush dry. See if I can get a bit of that back. So I'm just wetting it again in the hopes that if I do a bit of dry brush I can... Oh, that made an interesting sound. Pull it up. That's a bit better. Still not as white as I'd like it. There we go. I'm happy with that. We'll leave that. We'll leave that like that is and let it dry, and then I'll meet you back when it is. Is that good? Okay, so with the magic of a hairdryer, this is now dry, so I'm going to get some indigo. And I'm going to really get a lot of pigment on it. Now I was going to maybe add a bit of Van Dyke Brown or burnt umber to make it a bit more grey, but I thought it might be interesting to see if I can stick to just an indigo card, minus the gold spatter and the white ink for snow, but see if I can just use this as my one colour. I'll just move that out of the way, just turning it a little bit just for myself, and then I'm just going to do some circular motions. I always paint my background trees like this, and just do some blobby circular motions to make shapes. And you can play around and you can make them as big as you want, as small as you want. as well, just like that. A bit more indigo, just to darken the bits up at the bottom. Now, see if I can, sorry I'm turning it round again, see if I can paint small enough to do little fences. Normally I do do this with pen, but that's careful. So they're a bit, those blobs are a bit bigger. Do I have a smaller detail brush in my paintbrush collection? It's this one, but it's a bit frayed. Let's try it. Nope, that is quite frayed. I might see if I can do something with that. About this one, I do have, I believe I do have a rigger in here. You know what, it doesn't matter, that's fine. I don't think I should add any more fencing as it is. So I was going to add, maybe just also another fence here. It's going to be my main fence. Does that look like a fence? I hope so. Something I always do. I mentioned it a couple of videos ago. I always tend to seem to do wonky fences. A bit more to the trees there. Okay. How does that look? I wish I could take these two back. I'm not sure if I actually, let's see, can I make them look less, blend them in a bit more? I think these ones probably a bit too dry for that, but yeah, okay. Now, through the magic of drying, we'll be back for the splattering of snow. Now, I did say I really wanted to use gold sparkles in this, didn't I? But I don't know if I want to. I could add some gold sparkles, like some gold trees, to add a bit more interest. But which gold would I use? Anyway, so I'll let this dry. Well, let this dry with a hairdryer, and then we'll see. So now that that has dried, and I have got ink, just acrylic ink. I got a set from Art Studio. This one. I've also got some, came with some like really pretty, interesting colours. So, and then I've got Winsor Newton Ordinary Ink, and I've got some, Daler Rowney ink as well. Yeah, so I'm going to use this to do the snow. I've been using this, I mentioned it a couple of videos ago that I'm using one of those cheap brushes. I'm still using it because it works really well for doing this. I just tend to just let the ink that's on the dropper go onto the paintbrush. Add a bit more water, because I've noticed the wetter the water the brush is, the smaller the snow, the splatter will be. Oh, I have. So I was just checking I've actually pressed record. I had a sudden fear that I hadn't. Oh, now I did forget. What I was going to do is I was going to do some fence in these bits with the white pen, but I forgot to do that, so we're not doing that now. Right, I'm going to be careful when I do this, but I might add a bit of snow to the fences. Trying to do, trying to do too much, because I've drawn the fences quite thin as it is. And this ink, when it dries a little less opaque. I've noticed it dries quite opaque when you splatter it, but if you put like big bits like this, it's a little less, but that's fine. So I like how that looks. Wash my paintbrush off. Okay, so that's that one. Now, how long have I been doing this for? It doesn't really matter actually. I've got plenty of time. Shall we do another one? Put that to one side. Oh, look at the towel. Put that to one side to let it dry. Just have a little close up of it. Yep. Just put that over there. Let's grab a new one. Okay. Put the dance in place. I don't know why I'm turning it around. It really doesn't matter which way it sits. Now, so let's pencil. Now this time I want to do it here. Maybe do a tree here or something. Ooh, maybe do a tree. This time I want to still use indigo, but I want to see if I can get more of a dramatic, snowy kind of interesting background this time round. So I'm going to see what I can do. I'm gonna. Now I haven't actually changed my watercolour water, but because I'm using indigo, the same colour as the other one, it doesn't really matter. If I was using a different colour, I would have changed the water. There we go again. Move that out of the way a little bit. Okay. Now, I did mention that this paper fell apart from a watercolour journal that I bought, and that paper was advertised as 300, and it feels like 300, but I don't know. As you can see obviously the little dents in the paper, and I always get confused if that is cold press or hot press. I'll research. I think I know which one it is, but I don't want to say it in case I'm wrong. Okay, so let's get a lot more pigment on my brush and do this. Like that. Okay. I'm going to get my other paintbrush and I say clean water. I just said I haven't changed my water, but water with no pigment for my palette. Let that dry. And then I might draw some more defined trees, more defined than these ones. I might actually do shapes of trees, depending on how that dries, and then we'll work on everything else. So, that was a funny noise. There's nothing under it. Okay. Okay, so can you see? Right. I just sort of tilt it a little bit. Really make a difference. Now, if I use the hairdryer, I'm just going to tilt this again. If I use the hairdryer, it might change where the splatters go. When I try to make the snowy bits, maybe. Although I will say, this paper doesn't seem to do what my other paper did when I last did this technique. I used it as a substitute, like I said at the start, to the salt, but this paper doesn't seem to. No, it doesn't seem to. I had I can't remember which painting, but I did a painting, quite a few, where I've used the just splattering plain water and it kind of dried like the salt trick, but it's going to prove me wrong and betray me on this, so never mind. So I've dried that a little bit with my hairdryer. I'm just going to see if this is damp enough, just to see if I can. I might cheat and use this bit of pigment here that's on the edge. Like that. You won't believe, well, you might believe, I don't know, I'm quite clumsy. I did once spill. I did a video a seasonal painting last Christmas of I can't remember which one it was. Though I painted a robin and also some winter berries, rose hip berries, I believe, and I spilt my entire glass of water. Luckily enough, the watercolour palette lid that I was using at the time managed to hold most of the water, but yeah, that was fun. But as I was using the hairdryer, the painting that I did at this first start part of this video fell down the back of my table. And although a part of me wants to go get it, at the same time, my table has all my art supplies in the corner, neatly in its place, and I'd have to move them all to get that little painting. and I can't decide whether I want to or not. But we are going to finish this video anyway, before I can go and get it either way. So now I was going to see if I can, how dark I can get this without adding burnt umber or Van Dyke brown. I said I wanted to do some, see if I can get some trees like this. So these are going to, definitely are going to bloom. So I can't do traditional pine trees as such because this is still quite damp. But if I get a lot of pigment, even though it's damp, and I tend to do upward brush strokes, and then I might add a little bit here and there of a pine tree shape like that. So this side is clearly drier than that side because these are retaining, they're keeping their shape. There you go. Compared to these ones, you can see they're a bit more fuzzy. Where they have cauliflowered. I mean, I've got two options. I can let this dry again and then let this side, sorry, dry again and then do the same thing, or I can leave it like this. I quite like it like this, actually. Keep pulling them up. I like that. So I'm going to gently see if I can pull pigment down. There we go. I like this better than the first one, actually. I'm going to leave that to dry before I start adding snow splatters, obviously. Oh, dropped my paintbrush. I might actually use my wet pen to draw the fence like I wanted to in the first one that I dropped behind my table, and then we'll see where we are, and I might do a third one. What do you think? I don't know why I asked you what you thought, because you can't tell me what you think until the end of the video. Alright, okay, so I'm going to let this dry and then I'll add the splatters, add some more details with the white gel pen, and we'll see where we are. Okay. Oh, this might, although I dried it, it might still be a bit damp for the pen. Either or it's the paper, but I don't think so. Oh no, that's drying better. Okay, so I might have to go over those a little bit. Like that. What do you think? Don't know. I can't decide whether I liked it better without them. So normally, sometimes I do just some trees with my white gel pen. So that looks like. Now I could just do No, actually, I don't want to. I think I preferred it without the white fence. Okay. And now we're back here again at adding the snow. Although the white fence kind of gets covered anyway. Funnily enough, I like this one better than the first one that I lost down my table, even though there's less to it. Maybe I just like the more simpler side to it. So I might do, actually, because you can't see the white fence as much as I thought. I might do. That fence there. Ah, I've got ink. That's not surprising. I just sort of smudge that off for now. Okay, so I think that one's done. I think I see 32 minutes. Okay, that's that one done. I really like that one. I'm going to put that somewhere else, actually, because if I do another one and I use the hairdryer, I'm probably going to lose this one as well. So let me just, actually, now where did I put it? Okay, I generally don't know where I put it. I put the sparkly paper that I wanted to see what it looked like against one of the cards. Okay, I don't actually know. Okay, I'm gonna go find it. The table's a bit of a mess. I found it. It took me a while to find it, actually. At first I thought, oh, I hope I haven't lost this behind my table as well. Okay, so I just wanted to sort of see. That's what I was going for when I was thinking of cutting these down and cutting them in half instead of keeping them as cards. I want to say it's not very neat though, is it? Like round the edges. Unfortunately, this paper here, look, got a little bit scuffed. But I'm not sure if I'm actually going to use these into cards for people that I know, simply because I got some that left over that I made last year, I think I mentioned. So yeah, I just wanted to see how that looked. Okay. Okay, let's do one more, shall we? Okay. Get more indigo. shout out to this poor towel, this poor paper towel. Okay, to do some going along this edge and letting them do what I did on the first one, although maybe a slightly less harsh maybe. I'm going to just get a bit more indigo, just going to lightly dot it into the bottom of the trees to get a bit darker at the bottom, and then I'm going to let them do what they would like. I'm just going to get a tiny bit of the pigment with my wet brush. Now I'm leaving a tiny, when I take my wet brush to touch some of this bit to get more of the shadows in the snow, I'm leaving these little white gaps here because I like how it looks. I like the little bit of the white split between the trees in the background to that bit. Now I was trying to find a way to be able to add gold into this. I could just sort of not do white snow and have gold snow, but I don't know. That's another idea that I had. I thought if I'm going to add gold, I might want to make it a bit more simple. Just getting some paper over here. So I know which gold I want to use. For just, can you? I don't even, yeah, you can see. Okay, that's very nice. I really like this one. Actually, try this one. There's this one as well. It doesn't have to be gold. I just like gold. I'm not sure any of the oranges will go. I'm not sure they would go either, actually. I don't know, maybe that one. This one here might. Do this one. Okay. Sorry, there wasn't much in the way of talking there. Did you hear that? That was my stomach. Sorry if you heard that. Oh, I've had food. I'm not hungry. Okay, so I see. I like how simple this is. This bit actually makes me really nervous because I like how this looks, and I don't know whether this will be adding. I'm just going to basically do what I did with that and try and just do some tree shapes and see how it goes. I might need to just sort of break it up a little. Okay, let's have a little close up. Now, I think actually I kind of wish my stomach would shut up. And I kind of wish what I should have done, which was my original plan, was let it dry, and then I could do gold. Trees. So I might do that actually. Let's let that dry and attempt what I had in my head again. Okay, let's try what I actually had in mind. Yeah, that was my problem. I got a little bit too excited to use the gold and didn't let it dry properly. Whoops. I like that. Although I think I also would have been happy to keep it as it was, to be honest. It's very simple, but I liked it. Although I don't have anything against this, and I still got to use gold. What do you? Is it focusing? That's so pretty. Okay. Right. Gonna put this away. Right. In all honesty, it is. Oh, okay. In all honesty, it's a bit of a shame. I think I liked it before I added the gold. Let me know what you think. Okay, now it's time to add the splatters. Although it's nothing to worry about because that kind of thing happens all the time. Sometimes you go with an idea and you're not 100% sure, but you try it, and sometimes, like now, I regret it a little bit. I don't hate this, but I like the simpleness of the first one before I did the gold, but sometimes I will take a chance on an idea that I have and I'll end up loving it. Okay, so I might dab them because they're a bit big and a bit too close together. There we go. Let's try that. Is that sweet? I quite like it now. I do still really enjoy it. Okay. I could keep going with snow all night. Okay, so I think that's probably going to be my last one, but I have plenty of more paper to do different cards on different days. I've still got 2 left. What time am I? 45 minutes. I could do some more, but I think I should call it video over eventually. Okay, so close up of this painting. There's that one. And then this one that I did put somewhere more safe. And then the one that I lost. So those are those two. Let me get this out of the way. Now that I no longer need it, put both of these. There should be a third one, but I dropped it. Okay. So, would you let me know? These are some little. Let me know what you think. Just some little cute card ideas. I've got plenty more ideas to do for different videos, for Christmas cards. But if you want to leave a comment, what colour would you like me to see me use on doing some cards? Is there any colours you'd be interested in me seeing? In you seeing me? Oh, never mind. Let me start again. Is there any colours you'd like me to use on a Christmas card that you'd be interested in seeing me try? There we go. Anyway, okay. So I'm gonna go now. Feel free to leave me a comment. Bye.